I'd like to do a quick review on this tent, trekking pole tent. But first I have to tell you how I got to this point. And 4 years ago, when I was introduced to backpacking, I was taken to REI to get some equipment. And I remember on the shelf was a plastic coffee cup for $2.99. I said, oh, that's crazy. I can buy that cup at Walmart for 69 cents. Then they had one next to it, stainless steel for $4.99. Next to that was an anodized aluminum, which was about $7, $8. These prices are not, I'm just for demo purposes. But for crying out loud, next to that was a one they called titanium. The thing was like $34. This is unreal. It's not but stupid people, idiots would buy something like that. Well, anyway, that's where I was at 4 years ago. Here I am, 4 years later, and guess what? Here's a, this happens to be my cook set, which is a MSR kettle. And that seemed, I got my cook set in that, but yeah, this is the idiot. Not only have I got that, I got a 750, 1100, and a few others that nest in themselves. But anyway, yeah, I'm one. But I follow Bigfoot and Darwin, and of course Dixie, Alabama Dixie, and Survival Lily, a couple others, but just a little common sense into PCT. Now I got kind of upset with just every time, no problem. Bam, solved that problem. Now let's go to this tent. How I got to trekking pole tents. I've had, I don't know, maybe half a dozen or so tents. Big Agnes, Alps, all kinds of Sierra designs, and you find out quickly what you like and don't like. I like the, I don't like one that enters from the front, especially a one person. That's out for me. As big as I am, a two-person tent. It's just, that's it for me. One person is not for me. But I did try a few, like I think REI Quarter Dome it was fairly decent, but it was just a little too small. And so I don't like going in the ones from the front, and then you have to turn around and get on all four and somehow or another work your pad and all that. It's not for me. So quickly got away from that. I like a two vestibule tent. And as I got into this, of course I sold most of them that I didn't like on eBay. Easy to get rid of if you buy a good quality tent, no matter what the brand is. But nevertheless, I ended up with my go-to tent. Ended up being a Big Agnes copper spur two-person tent. And I've been on that for quite a few years. But as I got into this and the weight started to be a concern, I understood why you would buy titanium. Anyway, I got into thinking about a possible trekking pole tent. And I came up with two that I was seriously considering. One was the Z-Packs, I think they call it the Duplex, and then the Lightheart Gear Dual. Those two, they single wall tent. And I couldn't pull the trigger on either one of those, but they seemed like they would work for me, and I've watched a lot of reviews. I think Dixie and Bigfoot uses the Z-Packs, but I couldn't pull the trigger. I didn't want to deal with the condensation, and didn't want to spend that much money just to see if I really liked the trekking pole tent. Because normally, like my Big Ags, my trekking pole tents would be leaning against a tree and didn't use them after I got to the campsite. So I said that would be useful, but by chance I caught Sierra Design. Andrew Circa did a review on the Sierra Design High Route 1. And it was a one-person tent, but it had a nice rain fly. It was an inner tent that came with it. And gosh, I'm thinking, okay, I could use my trekking poles. And the inner tent just hooked up in side, and you can unhook them and actually be your tarp. You can cook in it if it was raining or snowing. So I'm thinking, oh, I don't have to bring my Walmart 5x7 backpackers blue tarp. I don't have to bring the power cord to go with it, and I wouldn't have to bring the tent stakes. So I could leave those 3 things off if I had this High Root 1 tent. Anyway, so I bought it. I think it was $240, something like that. But it was an entry level that I felt comfortable with just to try. Well, I bought it, and I slept in it 2 nights, and sold it on eBay. I just couldn't deal with the inner tent touching me, in my head, in my feet. The head would bother me, and then when I sit up, it just, the height was all right, and the idea of the trekking poles, I liked that. That was good, but I couldn't deal with it. But I did get to where I'd take my backpack. I got but anyway, I'd put it behind my head. It would push it up off my head. So I was able to sleep in it 2 nights on the trail. But when I got back, I sold it on eBay. And I thought that was pretty much the end of the trekking pole, even though I liked it. But anyway, by chance, I caught this this tent. Somebody did a review on it on YouTube, and I'll put the name of the tent right here because I've just recently learned how to use a video editor, and I think I'll be able to put the name of the tent and the website here. But this is a 2-piece tent. It's got the rain fly and it has an inner. And this one is trekking pole tent, takes 2. I just set it up a second ago. But anyway, a couple of things about it. It's only $87 from China. And you can Google the name of the tent, and there's outfitters here that do sell it, but they sell it for a little bit more. I think I saw one for $129, but you had to pay shipping. But if you don't want to wait 4 weeks, so that's about what it's going to take to ship it from China. And but anyway, I'll tell you what they did. Looked like somebody studied all the tents, and they took different ones, and it's like a knockoff of some of them. But I did notice that if you didn't want to use tracking poles, they got little loops here on both ends, and you could find 2 appropriate trees with power cord and tie them off and not use tracking poles. But you young guys that can carry all that weight and don't think you need tracking poles, that's fine. You can pitch this tent without tracking poles. The other thing that I thought was nice about it was this here. It's a little piece of plastic or something in there, and I had it out. This is about 7 times I've used this, and week before last it rained right here on this mountain, rained and snowed, and I didn't have that issue with it snagging and catching. But so let me open it up and I'll show you. It don't have a 2-way zipper. That's one thing. The other thing, not just this tent, but I noticed on all these tents, even my big Agnes, why this loop is so big and loopy. And I'd roll it up and I'd just make sure it was all just right, and then it would end up looking like that, like this. So anyway, common sense, I figured out just to take it and loop it around and jumble it up big right here. Jumble it up at this spot right here. Make a big bundle out of it, and that seemed to take care of it. Now I'm 6'1", 240 pounds, and this tent. If I was any taller, I don't think it would work, but 6'1" works fine. Now I guess I need to cut this. If you can see over there, they have a tie out. If you can see it on both ends, which will let you pull it out, and you can put a stick under this and get another inch or 2. Let me see. Oh. It's got a tie out in there that pulls the inner net out, and I have put a stick here. If you felt like you needed another inch or 2, you could put a stick right here like that. But I did that, and when it did snow, I did notice it. The snow was piled up here. I didn't realize it till I got out the next morning, but from then on, if it snows, I just backhand it, knock it off. Oh, I'll tell you what I don't like about it and what I do like about it. Well, I've told you I'm using it. It's my go-to tent now. But let me tell you what I don't like about it. Okay. I like it, but let me tell you what I don't like about it. I don't like this bathtub flow. Seems a little short to me. I don't like that. I know my big Agnes, the bathtub flow comes up to like here, and they even have a privacy curtain along here. That I don't like, because with my big Agnes Qco SLX pad, and then, you know, I'm up off the ground and I can see out under this, I can see out under under the rain fly. I don't like that. I feel insecure, I guess. But anyway, so I did figure out that we could take this tent is 2.5 pounds, 2 pounds 8 ounces actually, but you can get it off, because those clips in there, the ones up top and the ones over there, you could take one of them off, but it might be getting too close to the rain fly. But what I found out we do at night to get this a little bit lower, I could put a rock right here. I'd put a rock right here like that to kind of hold this down, and that seemed to take care of it for me.